So here we have our normal curve. In the middle of the normal curve is where data typically tends to happen. You'll notice that most of the data of the whole thing, remember 100% of the data is under the curve. Most of the data is in this middle part. So what we're doing here is we're dragging around our standard deviation. So remember, if we have a z-score of 0, that's going to be the mean. So if I go one standard deviation to the right and one standard deviation to the left, so when my standard deviations are between -1 and 1, I get about 68% of the data. So that's almost 70% of the data is within one standard deviation if your data is normal. Now watch this. If I go out 2 standard deviations, that's most of it. That's 95% of the data. And then even if I go even farther, if I go out 3 standard deviations, that's 99.7% of the data. So we're going to say anything outside of 2 standard deviations, if you look here, that's going to be 95%. So that means 2% is going to be less than, and 2% is going to be greater than 2 standard deviations. So we're going to say things get weird outside of 2 standard deviations. So if you do a z-score and you get a z-score of anything more than 2, it's considered out of the ordinary. It's considered weird. So let's do an example. On your way to school, your speed is distributed symmetrically, so roughly normal, with a mean of 23. So we're going to write that in the middle, 23. The mean will always go in the middle, and a standard deviation of 3.2. 3.2. That's just a rough sketch. 95% of your speeds typically reside between what 2 values? So remember, all we need to do is we need to stretch out from our center 2 standard deviations to the right and 2 standard deviations to the left. So 2 standard deviations to the right is going to be 3.2 plus 3.2. So that's going to be 6.4, which gives me 29.4 miles per hour. And then same thing here. This is going to be negative 6.4 the other way. We're going 3.2 and then another 3.2. So that's going to get us 16.8 miles per hour. So we're going to say that roughly 95% of my speed on the way to school is between 16.8 miles per hour and 29.4 miles per hour. All right, cool. Good luck.